Welcome to another edition of Nights with Ricky. I'm, of course, Nights with Ricky. And this is the late night tip where I just discuss anything that comes to my mind about the things that happen in the week. And that's what's going to happen in the next week coming up. So let me just get off of what I got in my head here. First of all, very serious situation that happened in Los Angeles, California. Rest in peace to Jabari Henley. Man, he was ambushed on Halloween night. He was shot to death on 69th and Figueroa in Los Angeles, California, South Central Los Angeles. Yet another tragic loss, another, just very unfortunate death that just has become normal there, and that should never have been a normal thing, but it is. It is what it is. But rest in peace to Jabari Henley for sure. Definitely sending out support to his siblings, especially Dayon Henley that plays for the LA Chargers. And man, that's rough. Losing a brother like that. Um, and it doesn't matter what your brothers do with their lives or anything like that. At one particular time, you grew up with them, and if you had a good relationship with them, you loved them, and you did things for them, and you just, unfortunately, everybody's life doesn't go the way that you would want it to go. So the same kind of situation that you react to and do, they necessarily ain't gonna do that themselves. And that's a hard part, watching someone, just mess up their life or something, just watching it, you know, and you can't do nothing about it just because of decisions they make and stuff like that. Uh, the situations of him being murdered, apparently they said a car had pulled up and he went up to the vehicle. That situation sounds a lot like Raymond Washington's situation that happened back in 1979. And usually if you go up to a car, you know the person, so he probably knew who his murderer was, you know. And but I don't know who did it, and we don't know who did it, so we're not gonna get all into deep in that. One thing is for sure that he is gone. He definitely is gone. Uh, but losing a brother like that, I've had a situation where I had lost a brother, and he was killed while he was incarcerated in Los Angeles County Jail. Um, his eyes was gouged out and everything, and there's still an ongoing investigation with that. So I'm not gonna get further into it. But when that happened, it really affected not only me but my other siblings as well. Um, you know, we didn't grow up with him like my other siblings that I grew up with. We didn't grow up with him like that at all. We just knew of him later on in life. But it's still a brother, and the fact that he was, murdered like that under that watch of being incarcerated in Los Angeles, I mean, that's a big deal. That's a very big deal. And it hurt. It hurt. And it still hurts to this day, like thinking about it, And so that's why I said Jabari Henley dying like that. Man, Dayon Henley ended up playing the game, and that was rough. And it's going to be rough for the rest of his season for sure, but the rest of his career. I mean, knowing that your brother was killed on Halloween night like that, like, like I got three younger brothers still left, and man, I would be totally devastated if anything happens to them like that. I mean, I'm already lost one brother. I don't need to lose any more to violence like that, and that's just something that I'd have nightmares of. Like, I don't ever want to go and identify them looking like that and stuff like that. Like those videos that showed up when the police was trying to resuscitate him and everything. And that right there was just like, you don't ever want to see nothing like that ever happen to anyone. And it just messed me up, like just seeing that. So rest in peace to Jabari Henley out there in Los Angeles. I don't care what his dad did. His dad, he got his own stuff. But I mean, to get killed like that, coming out of a smoke shop, should have never happened. but it did. So it's whatever. But definitely a rest in peace to him, and definitely support for his siblings, especially Deion Henley, the football player for the Chargers. So just try to stay positive as much as you can. Unfortunately, he's not returning, and that's the hard part. You just got to learn how to deal with it every day when they're gone like that. And that's the bad part about that. You just got to learn how to deal with it every day when someone dies like that. And nothing more to say, but whatever's going on out there in the LA politics, let them talk about all that. But I just had to shed light on that of my 2 cents of, if you have brothers, siblings, just always pray over them. Always make sure they protected when they go out them doors, wherever they're at, even if you ain't around them. Just always, if they come up like that in your mind, pray for them at that moment. Because you never know what can happen in a split second. Something like that can happen easily. Um, but yeah, so that's a little bit of that I wanted to talk about. The other things I want to talk about, coming up in the week here, people's been worried about, the SNAP benefits, if people are going to get benefits or not like that. I wouldn't worry too much about that. I think they're going to have something figured out, and I think they're going to be able to get SNAP benefits for people that need them. If people don't really understand that there are some people in this world that get SNAP benefits that really need those benefits, they can't function by themselves. They can't even operate as a normal human being. They need these benefits, and that's what these benefits are for. And if you've ever seen those areas, like if you've been to a center where they give the benefits out and stuff, you will notice that those people, they ain't wrapped too tight. You could just tell, like they can't function, they can't do normal things. And getting them these benefits, it helps alleviate and avoid a lot of problems. You think it's a mass incarceration rate now. Let's say if there was no benefits whatsoever, no public house and none of that stuff, none of those things available, this world would be in total chaos, especially in America. It would be in total chaos if that happened. Like, and I don't think the person that makes money, a rich person, they don't understand that. Like, and that's one thing that I learned throughout my years. Go through someone's shoes. And if you don't want to go through the shoes, go and watch something they do day in and day out. So you have a better understanding of it. Because that's just the disconnect here. You got rich people that just don't have no idea that this goes on like this. You know, they really have no clue that that goes on. But that's when you're so far removed. That's why if I ever become rich, well, I will be rich. Let's make that clear. But I don't ever want to become far removed from people. I really do not want to become far removed from people where I just don't understand where they're coming from or what they're talking about. I never want that to be a case of happening or anything like that under any circumstance, you know. So, like, those people, I don't know. I think they so far moved they don't even want to learn anything like that or humble themselves about anything like that at this point in their lifetime. I really don't think so. But if they do, I mean, like it's a good time to learn and figure things out, you know what I'm saying? But that's up to them. That's neither here nor there. But, a lot of people's just worried about the future of this country. And yeah, you have every right to be worried about it, but I'm not worried about it all. I'm going to keep, walking by faith and living by faith and everything. I'm going to keep doing that. I'm not worried about, you know, the uncertainty that is there. Like, to me, it's fear. And if you know what fear is, there's an acronym for fear. It's false evidence appearing real. That's all it is. And people love to buy into fear. I don't buy into it. Like, I just don't buy into it. You're going to either live or you're going to die. It's two options. There's no in between. So why stress about something with only two options? I mean, as long as you got faith that you know who God is and who He is and everything, and who you really believe in and your heart, you should never have to worry even about death. You shouldn't even have to worry about that. You know, walk by faith, not by sight. Because if you walk by sight, you're gonna live in that kind of world. Just you're gonna be living in that world. You're gonna be stuck in that world. Like if you walk by sight. If you walk by faith, you're gonna go do anything you want to do. Anything. Like if you have big dreams, aspirations of what you want to do in your life, that's exactly what's going to happen for you. You're going to do anything that you want at that point. Like anything. Anything's possible at that point if you walk by faith. But if you walk by sight, that's when questions about yourself come up. That's when you're worried about what other people say about you and stuff like that. Oh, now if I don't do this, they're going to take this away from me. But that's if you're walking by sight. But if you're walking by faith, none of them things happen. You're just gonna put it in God's hands and it's gonna get handled. That's how you have to live. And everything I've done in my life, I have put it in God's hands. And He's taking care of me every step of the way. Every single step of the way. You know. I'm very fortunate that that I just had developed a good mindset when I was younger, when I was a young man. When I was a little kid, I had developed a mindset of just trying to do the best things I can and try to live right the best I can. Do I make the right decisions all the time? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I'll say majority of the time I do. Majority of the time I try to make the right decision. And, you know, it's easy to do bad, but it's hard to do good. It's hard to stay the course. It really is. It's hard to stay on that track. It's hard to stay on that path. But if you do that, if you can stay on that path and you can stay on that track, like life is just better. You're gonna like start realizing, things that you're better at than you ever thought in yourself. And that's one thing I would stress to people is just stop walking by sight. Yeah, this is what you see, but it's fear. It's false evidence appearing real. But if you walk by faith, you'll know that that's just like, for instance, a lot of homeless people, like they're scared down there because they by themselves. And if you ever notice, they'll like lash out and be screaming and talking weird and stuff out loud. That they're trying to build that up because they got all that anxiety and fear built up in them because they don't want no one messing with them. So, so if they don't want no one messing with them, they think that's going to work to alleviate this attention they're going to get. They don't want that. But if you walk by faith, you're going to understand that's what they're doing, and you ain't going to be afraid of it. It ain't going to affect you or anything like that. Like you just understand, like, and that's one thing about when you walk by faith, you understand all walks of life. Like you're gonna like really be open to all walks of life. Like I remember years ago when I was still walking by sight still, and I never would be really open to talking to people like of different races, different religions, and stuff like that on certain things. This is when I was real young. But then I say when I turned about 15, 14, 15, I would go to different schools. I went to a different school every year after fifth grade. I went to a different school every year. That helped open me up to different races, different kinds of people. You know, it helped me build up different types of friends from all walks of life. And it helped me understand everybody on every kind of level. Whatever they was into, they could be into a gothic lifestyle, they could be into gang lifestyle, they could be into all different types of stuff. But I understood every single person because I was open to it. Now, if I wasn't open to it and I was shut off and I just made only a pack with one type of people, then I was going to probably struggle in life. Like I wouldn't be able to have conversations. Like now, I can have a conversation with any kind of person. And then some people who are stuck in that walk by sight mindset, you know, when they be walking by what they just see, they be looking at me crazy because they like, how is he talking to this type of person? And he's talking to them in the same way that he would me or them. It's because I understand people are pretty much the same. They just have different interests. And you never know who you talking to. That's one thing. Always talk to somebody in the most highest, fashion. And always talk to someone and give them that first genuine respect off the top. If you give them that first genuine respect off the top, like, and you just treat them well, and then always, if you get somebody's name when you first ever meet them, always make sure to say their name. It's a real sign of respect, especially if you ain't seen them in a while and you say their name. That shows that you remember them and that you're acknowledging them. So always make sure you say someone's name. The importance of someone's name, that's what I found out later on in my life. But when you say their name and you know something about them, that just shows a good sign of respect for them. And just listening to people. That's something that you got to do. Just listen to them. Just hear what they're saying. They have to let some of this stuff out. And if no one's listening to them, that's when people start caving in. And then that's when that fear comes in, walking by sight, and they're gonna be afraid to talk to people and stuff like that. But if you talk to someone and you let them open up about something they're interested in, you're helping that person not only for that day, but for the rest of their life. That way they ain't gonna be shut off against other people. But there's a lot of people out there that get shut off. Like, and it's just because somebody ain't listening to them or they just don't understand them. But that's one thing walking by faith does. It opens you up to everyone so you can understand everyone. Because everyone has that opportunity to at least, you know, be acknowledged and everything. Now, if you go and be open with someone and they just straight shut you off, don't look at it like, oh well, I'm not going to do this again with no one else. That was just this particular person, and at this point in their lifetime, they ain't open to that. They just not. So why focus on something that they ain't open to? That'd be totally pointless to even worry about it and waste your energy and emotions on a temporary situation. But don't let that just make you not want to do it again. Being open to other people and stuff like that. Because if you do that, then you're gonna start becoming walking by sight again. You're gonna be shut off, building up these weird questions and thoughts that come out of nowhere. And it's just that fear that's building up, that false evidence appearing real. And it's all the time, it's a lie. Fear is a lie, period. They always say the devil is a lie. That is the truth. Because the devil can bend the truth. He can really bend the truth. Like, he can have something just looking so truthful and so right that you'll start almost believing it. But when you walk by faith, you know when someone really is bending the truth. Like, for instance, Cam Newton was interviewing, I think his name is Jason Smith. So Cam Newton, I guess he had him trying to do like, some like thing how he starts his shows where, using these hand gestures and stuff and look at this camera, look in this one. The dude Jason Smith told him, I'm not interested in doing your ritual. I'm not disrespecting you or anything, but I don't want to do your satanic ritual. He said the symbol that you use with your hands, that's a satanic ritual. Cam Newton was very upset that he didn't want to do it. He got like very flustered and upset. But when that dude did that, that showed me that that dude walks by faith for sure. Like, he was looking dead at him, and you could tell he recognized what he was doing, and he wasn't falling for it. He said, "No, I'm not doing that." But he didn't disrespect Cam Newton. He just says, "I'm not doing that." Now we could shake hands, start this interview a different way, and that's exactly what he did. But he recognized that off the top that, nah, I'm not doing this just because you said so. I'm not going to do that. So Jason Smith, I commend him for that, how he did that with Cam Newton. He didn't get intimidated by it or anything. So that's walking by faith, in my opinion, not walking by sight, you know. But that was another thing I saw this week that I just thought was pretty interesting. Uh, Also, was something else. I'm planning on doing a video about this soon. So, I've already made videos about making sea moss and stuff like that. And how I got put on the sea moss was my dad. My dad told me about some sea moss, and I had made my own I had made my own about 3 different times. But the best one, if you're gonna buy some sea moss like that's made, is from his name is Pierre. And like if you do like sea moss by Pierre, if you Google that, because his name is Akeem Pierre. Like he has like the best, in my opinion. He has the best sea moss on the planet, in my opinion. So if you just Google sea moss Akeem Pierre, it should take you right to a site. I can't think of the site right off the top of my head, but it should take you right to a site and you'll find it. But I did buy some sea moss gummies though, and I plan on doing a video about that. But it's these right here. So let's see if you see that. But it's these right here. I had brought them just to see how they work and stuff. I'm gonna be honest with you. After it's been 2 days since I've taken these, or no, 3. It was the 3rd day. You cannot take these. I suggest do not take these at, if you got to go to work or something like that, or a very important thing. Don't take them at that moment. No, you take them when you're like off work or you're about to go to bed, like right before bed, because these will make you go to the bathroom quick. I don't know what's all in here. It's just sea moss. That's pretty much what it's all is. But it makes you go to the bathroom. Number 2, right off, like within an hour. It done did this 3 times. So if you're gonna do it and take these, I suggest you better have time before you take them, because these things will do it automatically. I don't know, but it's very potent. I was a little surprised by that. But these are the Carlisle brand of sea moss gummies, non-GMO and gluten-free too. But yeah, if you're gonna take that particular brand, definitely make sure you go to the bathroom before. If you have to work and you take them, you better make sure you take that bowel movement before you start, because if you have the shift going and you're gonna be gone for at least 20 minutes. So that's what I'm saying. Or if you got to go travel, and say if you're on public transit, do not take them before you get on there. You're gonna have to search for a honey bucket, a porta potty somewhere. You're gonna have to be searching for sure. Um, but those are like very potent gummies off the top. I gotta say that. So yeah, like I'm planning on looking into buying some more different types of gummies and like vitamins and stuff like that. Uh, my favorite one though that I like is that Bacopa Monterey brand. It's for the brain, the blueberry one, and it's this one right here. This is one that I really like the best. This is like by far probably my favorite gummy of all of them to take, because I just definitely notice a total difference. And it's got 10 in one. It's got uh Bacopa Monterey, Huperzine A, and Omega 3. And for me, I'm speaking for myself, it's been really good, results for me. I've been taking it for the last, I'll say, definitely 4 months, and I done went through probably 6 of these bottles, and boy, I noticed the difference right off the top, but I noticed the maintaining effect as well. It's maintaining. So one thing I always believe is attain, maintain, and amplify. Well, I attained it off the top. I already attained what it was going to be like, but it's maintained over that time, and it's amplified when you go out and do things like that require cognitive decisions and stuff like that, fast thinking decisions. And I've been doing very well with that for like the last like 3 months for sure. Like with everything, whether it's at work, whether it's working out or something like that, being more creative about doing videos and stuff like that on Nights with Ricky. Also, I have the sports channel too. It's done wonders for me in that aspect as well. So I really really appreciate what that is doing. But it's got all this good stuff in there, and it's a 10-in-1 product. Of all the stuff I've ever taken for brain health or something, in my opinion, this is the best one for me. But it could be different for everybody else. But that's definitely the best one for me. But yeah, so anyway, I just wanted to hop on here real quick and do my live stream for Nice Ricky. I haven't done it in a long time. It's been a long time since I went live on the Nice Ricky, but I'm gonna start doing more of it. Start doing more of these late night tips, whatever comes on my mind. Pretty much the late night tips gonna be a freestyle, whatever comes to my mind at that moment. So, but anyway, I appreciate everybody that came in and watched. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. If you see this video again later, if you're new to seeing it, if it shows up somewhere, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Nice with Ricky on YouTube. Right now, I believe I'm at 784 subs. That is amazing. And first of all, let me say thank you to every sub that I have on Nice with Ricky. I really appreciate y'all, man. I'm almost to the 1,000 mark. Man, if I get to that 1,000 mark, I'm gonna buy those balloons and do my thousand subscriber balloon release. I'm gonna definitely do that if I get there. But I'm almost there at 784. So hopefully I'll go over the hump soon. If I could do it before the year ends, that'd be great. But shoot, in 2026, I should hopefully be over that mark. I should hopefully, but that would be great if I can do that. But like I said, thanks to every sub that I have and everything. And I appreciate the feedback that I get from the videos and stuff like that. So